Well, it's a Friday morning and the clock is still ticking for political parties to form coalitions in hung municipalities. Let's remind you there are over 60 hung municipalities, including 5 metros, so decisions have to be made very, very quickly. The political parties have until next Tuesday to form municipal councils. So where are we on the coalition talks? How easy is it to form a partnership? Joined by political commentator Dr. Oscar van Heerden. Doctor, always good to have you with us here on eNCA. So as I say, the clock is ticking. Is this going to be one of those situations where we see last-minute announcements? How are you reading these coalition talks so far?
Good morning, Gareth. I mean, I think that, it's a very, very difficult period, particularly for the governing party, the ANC. As you know, a lot of the smaller parties have indicated that they are not interested in forming coalitions with the ANC. The DA, as the official opposition party, indicating that they want to see the back of the ANC. So a very difficult period. As I indicated before, even though a lot of parties have indicated they don't want to go into coalition with each other, I'm not going into a coalition with this one and that one. You would recall, Gareth, the DA saying they're not interested in a coalition with the EFF, and yet everyone is talking to everyone to try and form coalition governments.
But this is what's always so dangerous, and I think you and I had this discussion, Doctor, about parties coming out even before the results are announced, even during the electioneering, where coalitions were such a big talking point, and they were making statements in no uncertain terms who they're going to talk to and who they aren't going to talk to. I imagine, though, politically, for their voters, if they now start backtracking, people are going to start asking questions about what else they can acquiesce on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why I think that those kinds of statements, even though it was made on principle, was a bit premature. At the end of the day, Gareth, people want to be governed. People voted for their parties in order to put them into the driving seat. And if there is a possibility that they can be in the driving seat, although it means they have to talk to 1 or 2 parties to nudge them over the 50% mark, then I think that they are still trying to live up to the desire of their voters, of the mandate that was given to them. And so I think that even though people usually talk about, it's a betrayal, this is not what I signed up for when I voted for the Patriotic Alliance or for the Good Party or for the IFP. But at the end of the day, if those parties have the ability to be in the driving seat, to actually be the mayor or be the leader of the municipality, but it means going into a coalition, then I think the voters will support that.
Let's talk a little bit, if we could, Doctor, about the 5 municipalities. Everyone can see we've got 66 hung municipalities, but it's the 5 metros, I beg your pardon, that perhaps is of more greater concern, because we've seen what happens with coalitions and metros when they don't work. Essentially, they become, white elephants. Of the 5 metros up in the air at the moment, which is the one that you're watching most closely?
Well, I'm sure everyone is actually watching the Metro of Johannesburg. eThekwini, of course, it's also of interest. But the one that is really important for all opposition parties is the city of Johannesburg, and that is purely because it is it's the hub of the economic powerhouse of the country. He who governs Johannesburg has got a big part to play within national politics and so forth. And so it's very, very interesting to keep our eye on that and the kind of trade-offs that's also in the mix, because a lot of people talking about, if you give us Johannesburg, we'll give you Tshwane. I think, the thing, Gareth, that is important, and I see reports indicating that the ANC perhaps have become a rural party. But the truth of the matter is that the majority of voters, even though the ANC did not get the 50+%, still voted for the ANC in terms of numbers. They remain majorities in all these metros. And so it makes for interesting politics to see who is actually going to talk to who to form those governments.
Perhaps before I let you go, Doctor, a last brief question to you on particularly Johannesburg. And some are calling Action SA, Herman Mashaba, the kingmaker in this area. How do you think he's going to negotiate this? I'll tell you why. He's very clear. He wants a mayorship. Do you think there's anything else up for grabs where he could negotiate around that?
Look, if you look, Gareth, at the persona, at the person of Herman Mashaba, I'm not surprised. He wants to be the mayor. I think that deep down, he feels that he didn't do a good enough job when he was in the position before, spent a lot of time, wasting time, as far as I'm concerned, trying to find ghosts of the ANC involved in corruption, spent millions in investigations and so forth. And at the end of the day, ran into a brick wall with the alliance with the EFF. It became patronage, had to pay them every time they had to cast a vote. And he realized that he could have done a better job. And so he is a kingmaker. And I'm not surprised he wants to be the mayor, because he wants to undo and prove to the electorate that he can be a good mayor.
I think the words he used, Doctor, as I say goodbye, is he has unfinished business, if I'm not misquoting Herman Mashaba from Action SA. Always a pleasure. Doctor, you have yourself a good weekend now, and it's always good to talk to you. Dr. Oscar van Heerden, political commentator, head of coalition decisions. So it's going to be a busy weekend of coalition talks. It seems everybody is now talking to everybody just about. So we wait to see what's going to happen from next Tuesday.